Well, hey there, Bright Light, and welcome to this week's episode of Urban Shamanism with me, Steffie Funk, where I give you the sacred tools for an extraordinary life in the concrete jungle. So, with that, let's dive right into this week's episode. Did you know that there is a part of the brain that is fully dedicated to your higher self? This part of your brain connects to God, spirit, source, and it's the place where you get insights and intuition and inspiration. Don't you wish you could always connect to that part of the brain whenever you needed to make a big decision or know which direction you should head in your life or what your divine purpose is? Well, guess what? There's a way to reliably connect to this part of the brain. And today we're going to talk about what that part of the brain is, how to access it, and what the benefits of doing so are. So with that, let's dive right in. So the first thing is, what side of the brain is it? Where is it? Well, it's the right side of the brain. So maybe you've heard before of the left brain and the right brain. So in America, especially, like in modern day culture, we are slaves to our left brain. Now, I have this cool little cheat sheet here that I made for you. And yes, this is downloadable, and I'll give you the link in just a minute. But the left side of the brain is the ego side of the brain. And it's the part of our brain that's the doer, the analyzer, the judger, it's all about mental, masculine force and effort. It's really like based in the physical realm, okay? So we've given so much power to the left side of the brain. However, the right side of the brain is all about being, higher self, heart, feeling, body consciousness, feminine, and it's the energetic, okay? So the key here is balance, right? It's not to demonize the left side of the brain because we do need it, but you actually want to start in the right side of the brain, get the insights, get the inspiration, get the thinking out of the box ideas over here on the right side. Then use that to move into the left side of the brain and have the left side of the brain work for the right. So the problem in our society today is we've made this ego side, the left side, our master, when in fact it's meant to be the servant. So we're meant to start here and then use the left side to actualize our ideas into the world. The left side of the brain, there's nothing new here. It's like a computer program. It just regurgitates things based on past experiences, and you will never find anything new on the left side. So this is the thinking side of the brain. So, a little bit of a tip. If you're thinking, you are in the left side. You actually want to stop thinking in order to get the insights and the access to the higher self, God part of your brain. Okay, so I'm going to explain how to do that in just a second. But I wanted to let you guys know what the benefits were. So to get into the right brain, there's a really interesting statistic. Now, we spend how much of our time in the left brain, right? Analyzing, thinking, judging, doing. But did you know over here, we're only processing about 40 bits of information per second? When you get into the right side of the brain, you are processing 11 million bits of information per second. So where does it feel more expansive, more visionary, more outside of the box? Definitely in the right side of the brain. And this right side of the brain is it's wordless, right? It's boundless, it's timeless. It's our connection to the divine. So that brings us to the third part of what I wanted to chat with you about today, which is how do you access this? How do you access it on the regular? Because my recommendation is to make sure you are in this right side of the brain for at least 5 to 15 minutes a day so that you are opening the space to get the downloads and get the divine ideas that then you can put into action with the left side of the brain. So some things that you can do to get into the right side of the brain. Really anything that you think of that's spiritual work is going to get you into the right side. So things like prayer, meditation, But even some things that you may not expect will also get you there. So flow states are going to get you there. If you're ever doing something and you kind of lose track of time, that's the right side of the brain. So even if you're in the car jamming out to a great song with the windows down, that's a bit of a flow state. That's going to be the right side of the brain. If you're petting your cat or your dog, that often gets you into the right side of the brain, that really sweet, just beyond thought. Also, if you have a really good workout or you're an athlete and you're in that flow state, of performance, that also counts as getting you into the right side of the brain. So those are some ideas, but here's your weekly inner shaman practice. What I would have you do each morning so that you can set the stage to be in the right side of the brain where you're going to get insights and inspiration and intuition and divine ideas is to set aside, even if it's 5 minutes in the morning, to turn your analyzer off. And here's how you do that. So here's your weekly inner shaman practice. Envision that you have a dimmer switch in your brain. And in the morning, when you want to enter that right brain space, you are going to literally visualize turning that dimmer switch down in your head. Okay, that's called turning your analyzer off. And you'll literally feel that the thoughts slow down. Okay, so from there, just for 5 minutes, I want you to think about the left side of your brain like a bird attached to a cord, right? And the bird is flying all over the place. The right side of the brain is the stick that the bird sits on. So all you're going to do is envision the bird sitting on the stick. And every time you think that's the bird kind of going crazy again, just notice it, don't judge it, just let the bird come back to the stick. And do that for 5 minutes. And it is a form of meditation, but a really beautiful way, a very tangible way to get into the right side of the brain, which is non-thinking. And it's just sort of this really interesting paradox that in order to get to the divine idea, you actually have to stop thinking. So use that to just allow your brain to do what it needs to do, but then continuously come back to present with the bird coming back and landing on the stick. And I'd love to know how this works for you. So do this for a week, just for 5 minutes in the morning, turn your analyzer off, observe the bird, have the bird come back to the stick as many times as you need to. You may need to do it 300 times in 5 minutes. That's okay. But what you've done is you've opened access to the right brain. And even if you're not getting divine insights in that 5-minute or 15-minute period, you're starting to open up the space for those to come in for you throughout the day. And you'll get, just little thoughts and little ideas like, oh, I haven't thought of that before. Oh my gosh, that's such a win-win solution. And they'll come to you at just the right time, like when you're showering or you're driving in your car, because you've created the space for that magic to happen. Okay, so I promised to give you access to this guy. So to get access to this, go to my website, steffiefunk.com/right brain. Make sure you're spelling my name correctly. So steffiefunk.com/right brain. I will also post the link for you down below. And I'd love to hear from you. What has this opened up for you? Have you heard of the right brain before? Have you intentionally tried to access it before? Did you know that there was a part of the brain that was fully dedicated to your higher self and to accessing God consciousness? Now you know. I'd love to hear from you below, and I can't wait to see you for next week's episode of Urban Shamanism. See you then.